successful transference of viewership seamlessly, apparently. Thank you for joining us on the Ted Manila Information Show, TMI Show for short. I'm Manila Chan. That over there is Ted Rall. We're live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, so please be sure to hit the like, the follow, the subscribe, and the share button to help our little show continue to grow. And also, Ted, obviously, I wanted to start by saying peace and blessings on this Yom Kippur, the holiest day of Judaism, the Day of Atonement. But then over in England, I mean, wow, kind of bad news to start the morning on Yom Kippur with 2 dead on an attack outside of a synagogue there.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, what horrible news. But later today, we're going to bring in our friend of the show, Dr. Reese Halter, to discuss a different kind of passing of his late friend, his dear friend, Jane Goodall. I guess we're staying in England. So Jane Goodall, famed British conservationist, philanthropist. What do they call her? A chimpanzee? No, that's a primatologist.
That's right.
Primatologist. I mean, like, wow, just what a life, what a legacy. And Dr. Reese was privileged to be friends with her. He got me an autographed book from her, straight from Dr. Goodall herself. That was amazing. One of those things that, like, I fangirled when I got it. I was like, oh my God, like, she sent me a book with her home address on it and the return label. Like, wow. But he'll join us to talk about her life and legacy a little bit later on. But first up, the other news today, in case you might have missed it, the Arab world, I don't know, Ted, we might be seeing another, maybe, dare I say it, another Arab Spring in Morocco.
Could happen. Of all places.
It could happen. Yeah, it could happen. There's a wave of protests from Gen Zers. I mean, we saw that in, oh gosh, I'm having a brain fart, Ted. Not India. Let's keep going north.
Pakistan?
Wave of protest. Nope.
Mongolia?
North of it, Nepal.
Nepal, right.
Nepal.
And Bhutan also.
So yeah, there's like a wave of Gen Z protests happening, and now it's hitting Morocco, which is generally, steady Eddie for the Arab world.
Oh yeah.
So 2 people shot dead by police forces there. Then also, Ted, you and I have talked about, I want you to lead this conversation because you went to Columbia University School of Beauty.
That's true. And look at me now. Gorgeous. Fabulous.
Your degree is about as good as the toilet paper it's printed on, I suppose, since Donald Trump came to office.
And unaccredited in university.
That's right. But it looks like Harvard's getting theirs back, but they agreed that they're going to do some kind of trade school. Like, can you be a plumber and be like, I went to Harvard plumbing school? Is that what's happening?
That is the very strange situation we find ourselves in.
But you know what? I'm not going to throw shade on that, Ted, because we have discussed this many times on the show, is that in the 21st century, with AI taking all the jobs, the only careers that are going to be unscathed by AI consuming everyone's white collar jobs are going to be the trades.
No, that's true. And I have often said that, but still, Harvard doing this is very strange. Okay, that's all. I mean, this is like, it would be like
Harvard School
it'd
of
be
Plumbing.
like Wendy's becoming a 3-star Michelin restaurant. There's just something. It's strange.
Dad, I told you I just rewatched Idiocracy after not seeing it for a few years, and
so good.
The Dax Shepard character says, he has a diploma on his wall, and it says he went to Costco Law School.
We are now this close to that. Yeah.
It's
Everybody's like, welcome to Costco. I love you.
yes. Well, now you can go to Harvard and I don't know, I guess go to I wonder if the prices will be as outrageous though. Like, do you come out of Harvard Plumbing School and owe $50 million or
that could happen. Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't know what Trump's plan is, but he says they're going to get their accreditation back. But we'll talk about the
good.
trade-off. We'll talk about the trade-off,
Oh
Ted.
God. Yeah.
He says their sins are forgiven. That's a quote.
Yeah, not, however, their dignity is not around anymore. Yeah.
Different conversation, Ted.
Yes.
At least their diplomas will still be valid.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, it's trade-off. So we'll talk about that, and then of course the main topic, talking about Chunk the bear, Chunk the broke jaw bear in Alaska, winning Fat Bear Week. This just as and Ted, everyone's starting to call him this. I guess I don't know if it's like the thing, but Pete Hegseth they're calling him not the Secretary of Defense anymore. They're calling him the Secretary of the War Department.
Yes. Well, you know about that.
I know, but like, has it become official?
No, it's not official. It's not official. Well, it's like the Gulf of America is not official. It's just an executive order.
That what we're doing?
But, so when the president orders something like a new name change, like literally the president could pass an executive order saying the state of Ohio will from henceforth be known as Boogertown. Well, every federal agency would be required to change Ohio to Boogertown in all of their memos. And like that would be, but that would not make the official state name of the state of Ohio different. It would, so Ohio would still be called Ohio, but
like my Google Maps will still say Ohio.
But if the FBI said, oh, the FBI issued a police report, they'd have to say, we tracked the report, we tracked the suspect to Boogertown, Ohio. Or sorry, Dayton, Boogertown. So that's what they would. So it's like the Gulf of America. The feds now officially in reports, like the EPA has to say, we're tracking, toxin levels in the Gulf of America, but it's not. It's still according to like the National Geographic Society and all the international bodies that govern these things. It's still the Gulf of Mexico.
Do we have to call him the Secretary of War?
So it's
Is that the proper name?
Well, so because you're not a federal employee, so you can call it, you can still call it the DOD. It's still officially legally, it's still the Defense Department.
So confusing.
But the executive order forces federal workers to refer to it as the War Department. So if Congress fails to officially ratify Trump's executive order, which seems likely, what's going to happen is the next president will just ignore this, and it'll just be like it'll just be the Defense Department. Although the president would have to issue, the new president would have to issue a revised executive order saying that it's now the Defense Department. Because old executive orders remain in force unless they're canceled. Like, for example, President Reagan signed Executive Order 12333, which said that the United States could not assassinate anyone politically. Now, obviously, it's been a long.
You mean on our
80s.
Soil?
No, at all. That the United States was not allowed to engage in.
We're not going to engage in that. Okay.
Obviously, we've done that tens of thousands of times since then. So,
Interesting. Okay, so we'll talk about that whole the fun talk about Fat Bear, and other fat officials in America. America before Dr. Reese joins us to talk about Jane Goodall. I'm looking forward to kind of wrap that up, because you can't how can we not talk about Jane Goodall? Like,
she's a colossus.
Jeez, Ted, like something like close to 7 decades of her being out there and doing what she was doing with the apes, and I heard that she was still. Ted, you think you travel? You got nothing on Jane Goodall.
Oh, that's true.
Up until very recently. I mean, she died while she was on the road. She was in California and LA doing a talk. I guess she's not, I don't know if she just had it and then she died in her hotel, or maybe her one of her homes. I don't know, but they said she was traveling up until her 90th birthday, 300 days a year.
Yeah, she died in L.A.
That's crazy. What an amazing life. All right. So with that, I'll get into the first story, and then Ted, you take it away.
By the way, this is hilarious. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for Jane Goodall, and I just come across Gary Larson cartoon incident. 1987, Gary Larson published a Far Side cartoon of two chimps grooming, in which one discovers a blonde hair and says, "Conducting a little more research with that Jane Goodall tramp." The Jane Goodall Institute called the cartoon an atrocity in a letter drafted by its lawyers to Larson and his syndicate, which is my syndicate. Goodall, who was in Africa at the time, thought the cartoon was funny. She called it her favorite description of herself in pop culture.
That's funny. So it was like a male, a husband chimp and a wife chimp finding her blonde hair. That's the joke.
Yeah, that's the joke. And it's a funny one.
That's funny. All right, let's get to the news. All right. All right. So first things first, as we said, long seen as a pillar of stability in a turbulent, to say the least, Ted, turbulent Arab world, Morocco is being shaken by the world's latest wave of Gen Z protests. Army guards shot dead 2 people overnight, the first reported fatalities in 5 days of demonstrations across the kingdom, with more than 1,000 people already detained. It's Morocco's worst upheaval since the 2011 Arab Spring, and a worrying sign that the situation on Europe's doorstep may be spiraling out of control. On the face of it, the target was unlikely when the football-mad North African nation was announced as co-host of the 2030 FIFA World Cup. Many of its 38 million residents rejoiced. But lavish outlay on stadiums and infrastructure, part of some $35 billion of spending that are penciled in for this project over the next decade, has seen long simmering resentment over high unemployment and failing public services boil over. A leaderless, we've heard that term, and tech-savvy group called Gen Z 212 is spearheading the opposition, drumming up demonstrations via social media. They've even hacked into public billboards in the heart of Casablanca to spread their message, quote, "Healthcare first, we don't want the World Cup," is the protest chant alongside calls to end corruption. It's just the latest manifestation of growing youth anger around the globe. So Ted, obviously, okay, we're Americans. So yes, soccer's popular here, but it's soccer, right? It's considered like a tier 2 sport here. It's not football, it's not baseball. It's not even hockey, right? But it's growing. So maybe people in America don't get how big soccer is to the rest of the world. Getting the FIFA World Cup is huge. So I guess the Moroccan royals and their government voted to pour all of this money into, sprucing up Casablanca to, much like LA is doing for the 2028 Olympics, right? We're going to sweep the homeless under the rugs, maybe push them out to the Pacific Ocean, out to sea. We're going to do all of that to make LA, despite having our hometown burnt down at the beginning of the new year. We're going to make LA look shiny and pretty for 2028 for the Olympics. Morocco's going to do the same thing, except unlike Angelinos, the Moroccan youth are like, hell no, you are shining up a turd. This is not the reality here, and we're not okay with it. Unlike the Gen Zers in Los Angeles, you're kind of like,
whatever, dude.
Yeah, bro. Take a hit of this. Let's have a taco and chill. In Morocco, they're like, hell no, we want health care. That's what they're talking about, Ted. They want health care.
What maniacs.
Like, I read that and I was like, what? Like, that's
So,
happening in Morocco and
by
not
the way, have you
happening
been to
here?
Morocco?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, I'd like to. It's on the bucket. I mean, it's Casablanca.
Just slightly pre-pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It is a very stable Arab country. This is a surprising thing. It definitely didn't feel, at least 5 years ago, like the kind of place that was like on edge and about to blow up. So, I mean, it's interesting. If Morocco is this unstable, then it seems to me like this could be a harbinger of other things to come. Look, politically, obviously, I can't possibly fault anyone who says that healthcare is more important than a sports stadium. Duh.
Yeah.
That's a basic human need. And so good for them. Good. I mean, look, I think the thing that's interesting, and we're seeing this about Gen Z, not just in other countries, but also here in the United States. Gen Z is really like focused like a laser on the basics when it comes to politics. I mean, stuff like, we should be able to not be massively in debt from student loans. There should be some reasonable prospect of us finding employment when we graduate from high school or college. The government
Healthcare,
owes us
water,
things like healthcare and clean
housing.
water, and to take climate change seriously. All these big issues that previous generations have just been, kicking down the road. I mean, obviously the most guilty is the boomers, because a lot of these problems cropped up while they were coming of age, and they had the political power and the wealth to address them. You can't really blame Gen X because they were completely marginalized and not allowed to have political power or wealth, and therefore in no position to fight these things. So basically, we became a bunch of apathetic people because we
still aren't, Ted.
They don't even admit that we exist. Like literally, when there's stories about generational warfare, there literally would be a chart that will show Gen Z, millennials, and then boomers, and then it'll be like, hello, there's tens of millions of us here.
Ted, we are the latchkey generation for a reason. They forgot about us anyways. So of course, really what we're looking at is boomers like Nancy Pelosi, the political elites that will cling to power until the day they die, like Dianne Feinstein.
Yeah. I mean, of course, they will cling before too, but.
And this is all across the globe. It's not just here in DC. It's the leadership around the world. They're all like Nancy Pelosi's age, and they will not step down.
Well, maybe
and
not
then you
all.
see the young ones.
There's always Emmanuel Macron and people like that. Although really his old wife is running the country, but and beating the shit out of him.
That's true. That's true. All right, we should move on before Dr. Reese
good point.
Pops on
all right.
Let's go to your is it a rival school? Is Columbia a rival to Harvard?
Not really. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I didn't know if Ivy's had these.
No, I mean, well, there's Harvard Yale is a rivalry.
Oh.
I think if I'm not mistaken, Cornell and Dartmouth are a rivalry as well.
Oh.
But Columbia doesn't have rivalries because we're so bad at sports that there's no rivalry whatsoever.
Okay.
Basically that's it. We control New York City. We own all the real estate. That's it. All right. President Trump claimed that his administration is near a deal with Harvard. This deal would involve Harvard paying $500 million to create trade schools, of all things. Several universities in the U.S. have been squozen by the Trumpies over issues like pro-Palestinian protests against Israel's war in Gaza, campus diversity, and transgender policies. Linda is finishing up the final details, Trump told reporters at an event in the Oval Office. Linda McMahon is inexplicably the Secretary of Education and former chief of the WWE. And they'll be paying about $500 million, and they'll be operating trade schools. They'll be teaching people how to do AI and lots of other things. Engines.
Do we do
lots
AI?
of things. Their sins are forgiven, he added. Donald Trump needs to go to, not Harvard, he needs to go to the new Harvard Trade School because he is so uneducated.
No, he needs to go to ESL.
Oh, yeah, that would work. Yeah, that's true.
ESL is good.
Yeah. Harvard did not immediately react to the development. Trump earlier accused universities, including Harvard, of anti-Semitism because they were anti-genocide. The administration and Harvard were locked in a months-long standoff over federal funding to Harvard. Meanwhile, rights advocates have raised concerns about free speech, privacy, and academic freedom. The standoff between the government and Harvard began over supposed fictional, non-existent anti-Semitism on the Harvard campus, with Trump accusing Harvard of failing to tackle this fictional, non-existent anti-Semitism, which is hard to do because it was fictional and non-existent, on campus following the protests against the genocide in Gaza. However, the fight broadened in order to include allegations of political bias, scrutiny of its relationship to China, and opposition to diversity efforts, according to Bloomberg. 3 other top American colleges and universities have also decided to capitulate to the administration, including my alma mater, Columbia, which in July agreed to pay $220 million to restore federal research money. Now, whenever Columbia calls me as an alum to beg for money, I'm like, get the money back from Trump. Don't call here anymore.
But wait, so I remember them agreeing to give the money, but they still don't have their credit. Like, their sins are not forgiven?
No. Like, that's the thing is, like, they're sucking Trump's cock. There's no other word to say it. And they're not getting anything in return.
Well, it's only, to be fair, Ted, it's less than half of what Harvard's giving.
Right. It's only 220 million dollars. However,
Harvard
has, I mean, you know, Columbia's a rich school, but Harvard is richer.
Oh, by like a lot?
By a lot. Yeah. Harvard has this massive endowment.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So let's speculate for a minute. What is it, do you think, that Harvard has in mind for trade schools? I mean, I can't imagine $500 million being spent purely on doing AI, as the president says.
Whatever that
so
means.
Like, yeah, I don't know what doing AI is that you can't do in your current, like, computer information systems major at Harvard.
Right.
Maybe Trump doesn't get that, but that's not what a trade school does. A trade is the trades, like you learn welding, plumbing, electrical school.
Correct.
Like,
car repair.
Not AI.
No.
Like, so,
although AI is going to be increasingly part of cars and everything else. And
sure,
it still is. But still.
But I feel like you learn that in one of the regular computer degree programs.
This is going to sound counterintuitive. What if Trump is saving Harvard? Because, like, really, truly, in the future, does anyone need a fucking degree in sociology? Like, no, because it can't do. I mean, there's no jobs, right? Does anyone need a job in, a career in major in history? No one cares about history. But maybe, the trades are the future, and that's the only way they're going to be able to make money.
Oh, I 100% agree. But then what does getting a trade university, Harvard trade university, I don't even know what they would call it. Getting a degree from Harvard Trade University.
No, I want to see the ad. First of all, it should be Mark Wahlberg should be the representative because he's from Boston, and he should be like, this is Marky Mark from Harvard
right,
Harvard School of Trade. It's like, come to Harvard. You keep your own tools.
You come to class.
Financial aid available, tools. Sort of.
People don't realize that the way he actually.
We also have classes in kicking ass at the bar after closing time.
I just don't know. I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks that's really great.
I can't, if SNL doesn't do this and do it well this Saturday, I don't even know what to say. The ad for the trade school has to be
well. Like, I'm trying to think, SNL has sucked for years. Let's be honest.
I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. But I guess the question is, what would Harvard school? What trades could Harvard teach you? Like how to arrange the dessert fork.
Right. Like what?
What namby-pamby wimpy things do they teach you?
I don't know. Like, I don't know that anyone at Harvard in the faculty presently knows how to turn a wrench. Like, they're going to have to hire a whole new staffing, put up new buildings.
Dean Wahlberg will take care of that.
Okay. Let's go ahead and hit that first ad, Robbie, and
Okay,
then
go
we'll
ahead.
get to
Put it up.
we'll talk about Chunk.
We have to talk about Chunk. Well, I'll start talking about Chunk while the ad's coming up here.
Yeah,
Chunk,
it's
a
coming.
towering brown bear with a broken jaw, no word on how that happened, swept the competition this week in the popular Fat Bear Week contest. His first win after narrowly finishing in second place 3 previous years. Ooh, there he is. The annual. Oh, there's the ad. Looking for a comfortable but unique option for your gaming setup? Check out technosport.com. With a wide range of ergonomic chairs and an array of colors, you'll definitely bring your setup to the next level. Always comfy, never boring. Technosport. Use code RUMBLE for 10% off your entire order. All right, the annual Fat Bear competition allows viewers to follow 12 bears in Katmai National Park and Preserve in Alaska on live webcams and cast ballots in a bracket-style single elimination tournament that lasts a week. Chunk, who is officially known as Bear 32, beat out Bear 856, who doesn't have a nickname, in the final bracket, according to totals posted on the organizers' website. Chunk's weight is estimated at 1,200 pounds by contest organizers. They don't weigh the bears because of safety concerns. Yeah, I should say so. Hey, dude, yeah, over here. Yoo-hoo! Come over here. Step on the scale.
Come here, bear.
Chunk and others have had their density scanned to bolster weight estimates in the past using laser technology known as LIDAR. So, Manila, apparently there's variation in bear density. Some, like you might look at a bear and say that's a 4,000 pound bear, but it really only weighs 2 ounces because it's all air. And conversely, a bear could be just like an inch tall, but weigh thousands of pounds. I mean, none of this is true, but what if it were?
Bear density.
Despite his broken jaw, he remains one of the biggest, baddest bears at Brooks River, says Mike Fitz, a naturalist for Explore.org. Chunk probably hurt his jaw in a bar fight with another bear, with Marky Wahlberg. The contest is wildly popular. This year it attracted over 1.5 million votes from fans who watched the Ursines gorge on a record run of salmon as they fished in the Brooks River, 300 miles away from Anchorage. It's the biggest glut of salmon in the living memories of the bears or the humans who have been running the Fat Bear Week contest since 2014, according to Katmai Conservancy spokesperson Naomi Boak. That abundance decreased conflict in this river since salmon were readily available, she said. Katmai National Park Ranger Sarah Bruce estimated around 200,000 salmon went up the river. In leaner years, the toughest bears jockey for the best spots to fish at Brooks Falls, where the salmon come together in a bottleneck and jump from the water as they fight their way upstream to spawn. This year, the fishing spots were often empty as bears hunted up and downstream. There was even room for humans to fish. At one point, Monday, one of the Explore.org live cams showed 2 people calmly casting fishing rods along the river, even as brown bears plodded upstream and downstream near them. Voters in the contest could review before and after pictures of the bears, lean at the start of summer and fattened at the end. The bears are not actually weighed. We already talked about that. And some fans chose their favorites based on looks or backstory. The live cams at Brooks Falls captured the moments in 2024 when Mother Bear 128 Grazier's Club slipped over the waterfall and floated into the fishing spot occupied by Chunk, who attacked and injured the cub. What an asshole. Grazier fought Chunk, but the cub died. After the fight, voting fans handed Grazier a victory over Chunk. Pussies. Fat Bear Week was started in 2014 as an interactive way to inform the public about brown bears, who are the coastal cousins of grizzlies. They spend summers catching and eating as many salmon as possible so they can fatten up for hibernation in Alaska's cold, lean winters. I don't know what they mean by that. I wonder if Alaskan brown bears are different from the brown bears that live in the main, contiguous United States. I don't know. But
that I don't know. We can ask Dr. Reese. I see that he popped on. I don't know, but if you look at this year's Fat Bear winner Chunk right here, look at that huge gash across the top of his snout.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a huge scar, and then
maybe it was caused by the cub.
I don't know, but then his jaw is like hanging down on one side, like Bell's palsy, like. So I guess that's wow. So despite that like disability, so what they do is they look at what the bears look like when they come out of hibernation because all these bears are like tagged and stuff.
Mhm.
So they look at what they look like when they wake up from hibernation to this week where they tally up the votes of who is the fattest bear, and Chunk is the chunker. Like he put on the most weight, I guess. But
Although remember, there's the whole bear density, controversy.
fight controversy of
That bear could be made of helium. He could float off into
he
the
could just
ether.
be a fluffy bear. He could just have a lot more hair on
Yeah, that's
him.
true. It's like when you sort of like when you get a cat wet and it's like suddenly
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's a skinny cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know. Like, I didn't know that they're the cousin of grizzlies. All I know
I
is
mean, all
I would
bears are
not
cousins
be
of each other in a
fishing.
sense, right? But
Are they? I would not be fishing where this dude
oh
is.
no, I would be like
No,
no, I'd be
hell
fishing
no.
at the supermarket at the Stop and
Yeah,
Shop.
hell
See ya.
to the no. When I see these guys, trying to fatten
That's a
up in
mean.
the
I gotta say,
summer.
that's a mean looking fucking bear. I mean, he really is. I
Well,
mean, maybe
he's
he
a
would mean
brawler
me.
because of the gash.
He might mean me no harm, but still, I'd be scared.
No, I don't think
Maybe
so. He
irrationally.
killed the other lady bear's cub
Yeah, that
because
cub had it coming. Fuck that cub.
that baby bear went into his fishing area, and he was like, "Oh hell no, little kid! Like get out of here!" and killed him.
Bears are cool.
So that's nature, man. We'll ask Dr. Reese because Dr. Reese is here. So I'm gonna go ahead and jaws this thing and bring on Dr. Reese to talk about the whole reason that we're bringing him on. All right. So, in case you haven't heard, Jane Goodall has passed away at the age of 91. The famed conservationist and primatologist was known for her groundbreaking research on chimpanzees and environmental advocacy. In 1957, Jane Goodall traveled from England to Nairobi, Kenya, where she worked as a secretary back then to the paleoanthropologist Louis Leakey. Despite her lack of formal training, Leakey recruited Goodall to launch the first long-term study of wild chimpanzees in an effort to better understand human evolution. Obviously, the animals had been studied for decades, but in captivity, never in their natural habitat. So Goodall's first groundbreaking observation came when she witnessed chimpanzees use a grass blade to fish for termites, upending the prevailing belief that only humans could make and use tools.
Yeah, now we
Goodall
know
would,
even bugs use tools.
yeah. Goodall would go on to observe the animals hunting, forming social bonds, displaying emotion, adopting other chimpanzees, and even engaging in war. Goodall parlayed her research into an appeal for conservation, and she really dedicated her whole life to that. And we are privileged to know Dr. Reese, who knew Dr. Goodall. She's written a couple of forwards in some of his books, that I know for sure. So Dr. Reese Halter, in case you all don't know, is a conservation biologist. He's an award-winning broadcaster, author. His latest book is called Generation Z Emergency. We were just talking about Gen Z making a lot of noise. Good for them. You can follow Dr. Reese on Twitter at Relentless Reese, or go to his website at drreese.com. So you can see all his stuff here. So Dr. Reese, a couple things here. Always great to see you, even though you're out in the wild and sometimes we see trees.
And grass and horses
and
yeah,
grass,
yeah.
but we're always happy to see you. Before we get to your friend Dr. Goodall, can you explain to us what is this thing about the bears? You came on just as Ted was wrapping up this whole bear thing.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between what Alaskan brown bears and like contiguous United States brown bears? Like
Not really
lower 48?
geographically. The main thing is, which is so cool. The main thing is the food source. So we have brown bears on the coast. They were the emblem of Cali.
Mm.
Down were as far, believe this or not, as South Dakota, and of course today they're just a sliver in far north British Columbia and Alaska, and there's also a population. I mean, there are pockets elsewhere, but there's also population in the mountains, the Rocky Mountain chain, and so they're remarkable bears. They are fisher folk. And contrary to what I just heard, actually, when you want to get close to these super predators, when they're feasting, when the salmon are running, you can get mighty close to them because they are focused on eating not the salmon, it's the uh, guts and heart and all organs of the
Mm.
salmon. So, what they
Oh.
do, because that's where the energy is, they then
Oh.
perf the carcasses on the shoreline, which then feed, oh, I don't know, another 130 different species of life. And the bones give back nitrogen to the forest. So, where poor conservationists slipped, as usual, sadly, not with the heart and passion, but with the marketing, we now, there's a movement afoot that from Santa Cruz to Anchorage and everything in between on the coast rename this as the Salmon Nation Rainforest because of the importance of the salmon. The salmon are the engineers of the entire ecosystem, coastal ecosystem. Phenomenal. And these bears are wild. What we think happened to old Fatty was he had a fight early on with one of his buds because in the animal kingdom, the dominant is the one who mates, and you're constantly challenged. And Fatty had or whatever his name is,
Chunk.
had
Chunk.
a Barney with one of his buds, and the bud broke his jaw. Now, as Ted or you just mentioned, isn't it phenomenal? With a busted jaw or a broken bone in the jaw, he was still able to chow down. And they have to chow down because uh, in a month or so, give or take, putting time limits, but they den. And they den for and hibernate for, probably strong 5, 6 months. And they're living solely on the body fat that they have accumulated. So it's very, very cool. And the sows give birth uh, while hibernating to their cubs. And they can only give birth if they have enough
Oh.
girth from the salmon. And it's not uncommon, by the way, sad, but not uncommon for a dominant male, not just in bears, but lynx and in mountain lions, for them to kill the offspring of whomever, preferably their
Mm.
mating a partner, so that they can induce mating again. It's a it's a
Oh.
fierce gig. It's harsh. It's harsh for people, but not really. I mean, just saying. How many people get killed in American cities every day or every year randomly? So
Or
this is,
kids by their step parents. I mean, we don't like to talk
oh
about that,
God,
but it does
Ted.
happen.
Oh
It's the
yeah,
same instinct, I think.
yeah. You're
Oh my
right.
gosh.
You're right. You're right. So on to our friend, on to our dear face of face of Mother Nature. Jane Goodall was a champion. Jane Goodall was the first human that we know of in modern time where the chimps actually, so much like another hero who's long gone, not that long gone, Farley Mowat was a Canadian biologist. And in the 50s, Farley went up to, I think it was the Yukon, and lived right around the same time with maybe a hair before Jane, lived with the wolves nearby. And at some point in his expedition, the wolves accepted him and they would pretty much come up to him. They weren't intimidated. Jane did, bless her, the same thing with the chimps. She lived with them or nearby, and eventually they accepted her, and then they came up to her, which at that time was with a primate was never before. So,
Mhm.
and then she noted that that far from being passive and frugivores or herbivores, they ate meat, they hunted, they danced, they grieved at the loss of a loved one, and they had happy and sad occasions. In other words, they were they're our closest. We share at least 97, possibly 98% of the same DNA with them. So, and being a woman, bless her hemp
Yes.
socks, she up your nose men in science, and people were like, oh,
Oh my gosh,
oh,
can we
oh,
touch on that, Dr. Reese? She's talked about, I mean, she's one of the people as and I've expressed this to you, I've known you for a long time. My admiration for her was that especially given her age and that in that generation, it was almost unheard of to see a
yeah,
woman scientist, much less
yeah,
go out in the field the
yeah.
way she did. Can you talk about the groundbreaking nature of that in and of itself in that generation?
Yeah, it is. And the great thing of many great things, there's books on Jane, how great she is. But she loved animals and she followed her passion. Her mother was her main guiding force and said, just keep at it. She went and she did her science. She wasn't even in college, she was not in Oxford. She did all these observations meticulously, broke all kinds of new ground, and then with Louis Leakey, who in the day was the foremost anthropologist. They got her into college. She did her PhD, and the rest is history. And Jane tirelessly, for decades, for like 40 years, traveled the world. She has a program called Roots and Shoots at her foundation. She has touched millions of children. And the main thing that I'd like to leave the audience with is this, and it is of paramount importance. Don't get depressed, get active. Don't lose your hope. Each day, do anything. Do not be quiet. Do not expect other people to do things. Do good things for Earth. And I encapsulate that by this. The golden rule is, as people know, do unto others. And we do that with three words and we make it our mantra: kindness, kindness, and kindness. Together, we good people on Earth, and there are billions, outnumber the bad guys by spades. And therefore, with IA and with algorithms and data profiling and all this seductive propaganda from stations calling themselves news, which is just nonsense, we're bombarded. But if we band together, we are a powerful force. And Jane was the leader. She's passed the torch. She's a saint. She will do whatever she can in the fifth dimension on the other side to help. She's a guiding force and an exemplary human, particularly for women, because she did what men traditionally did, and she did it with grace. Unlike myself, who gets whippy as a bird dog and fired up, and people often, when I was on MSNBC, sent hateful notes saying, "You can't be a scientist, you're all passionate." Yeah, well, in your ear. But she, Jane never got flustered. And she had such a beautiful demeanor. I bet you she gave, I'm not kidding, I bet you she gave 150,000 talks in her life. Uh, and the kids loved her. And that's all. Look, if you instill goodness in a child, they will turn out to be, for most part, a good human. And
Was she funny?
yes, she had a sense of humor. Oh, God, she had a delicious sense of humor. And such a gentle smile, a smile that would light up a room. And smiles are very disarming. If you smile, it sets a great tone in a dialogue or just passing by. If you
Do
smile,
you think the animals felt her calm and that's why she was able
oh
to
yeah,
relate to the
oh
troops and
She
stuff?
had a vibe,
oh
definitely.
yeah. I mean, if I had to sort of in my life kind of put people, she was absolutely in her female form. She was the male form, in my opinion, of Jacques Cousteau, in terms of the passion, determination, and audience. And audience. Jane was a renowned advocate everywhere in the world. She has touched children on all continents and visited and helped. She and I worked together many years ago with, oh boy, it's we grew up with, some say the humans evolved and our evolution a couple 100,000 years ago really took off with our relationship with wolves, and wolves eventually became dogs, as most know that. And the story in Australia is quite interesting. When the indigenous people first came over, now it's believed maybe 80, 85, 90,000 years ago, the first Aborigines came across a land bridge and followed closely by the dingo. Now, the dingo is a dog, is a canine, and the dingo is the largest land predator in Australia. And much like America, oh, it hurts me to tell you this. The wrath to kill the dingo has been like the wrath to kill the wolf. And it's in our case today, it's the ranchers, but the way they kill them is enough to make you curdle. They use a poison called 1080. It's a cyanide poison that shocks these animals for 48 hours until they die. They eat it. And Jane and I worked 15 years, I guess, ago on a campaign to try to get the Australians. 1080, by the way, is manufactured in the United States, banned in the United States, but they use it in Australia. And we worked to get that taken away. We didn't hit the mark, but we made a lot of fluster and bluster. And it's kindness, right? Now, you may say, come on, there's a dog. Who cares about a dog? Well, remember what I just said earlier on about a salmon,
Mm-hmm.
the being an engineer of an ecosystem and taking care of some 130, I think it's two, but it could be 134 different animals feed from it. Well, the dingo, it does similarly. When a dingo is present, that means we get a healthy another 130 some odd different animals because they're the apex predator. So when a dingo is there, it keeps the chain of order and command underneath the pyramid functioning well. When the dingo is
Oh, Dr. Reese, we lost your audio. There you are.
ranchers, it's I gotta say, and it hurts me. We know we know how to Ted. We know how to paddle forward, and paddling forward, Ted and Manila, is not having more cattle, right? It's backing off on meat. However, if you look at a world graph on cows and meat production, it's just going right hell bent for leather to the moon. And with the cattle, as the audience may or may not know, they need grass. And when we use grass, that means we're taking away arable food land, and grass takes water, and we've run out of area and to grow human food. And it just the bang for the buck, the water, the energy to get beef versus growing a plant to people, it's ridiculously easy to understand. Super sad what's happening,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
cattle release methane as they belch from chamber to chamber, and that too is heat. And the oceans are boiling, and it's really big trouble. I mean, it's really.
Dr. Reese,
Mm,
one of the viewers posed a question to you.
yep.
Adrian
No.
in France wants to know, did Jane Goodall believe in a supreme creator? In other words, God.
Uh, I can't speak for Jane per se, but uh, Jane believed that we, in metaphorically terms, we're living in the Garden of Eden with all these beautiful animals and plants and corals and oceans and sky and food and medicines. And we have to it's our moral obligation to take care of it. So she was mindful that it was a wonderful.
Oh, oh, we lost Dr. Reese.
Is he
Oh, there he
gone?
is. Hold on.
Okay.
There he is. There
And
he is.
yeah, I'm mumbling around. And so, I don't know what her faith was. We never
Right.
talked about that. Scientists are kind of geeky. We don't
Yes.
often get into like, oh, what religion are you?
I was
My
gonna say
religion
that
is
most
nature.
scientists.
Come on, most
Yeah, I was gonna
scientists aren't
say.
religious, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
probably
truth.
not. Our religion is nature, right? We're like
but
we're
I
geeks.
mean, I never met her, but I would imagine that most of you conservation biologist types are you believe that we're all interconnected because there's
Yeah,
scientific evidence for
yeah,
that.
very true. Very, very true. And we feel the moral obligation for some to help other people become care givers. No, I don't like the taking thing, but to give, to help an animal. If an animal, look, if a bee is buggered, take a dollop of honey, put it next to it, and watch it may eat it, and you may save it. If an animal
Oh,
is hit on the road, you look up, Google up your local animal shelter, and somebody will come out and help it. These are just kind, easy acts. It's easy with the telephone or a tablet. You can access this stuff, and there's animal carers that will come and help,
yeah.
It's
and
true.
And Dr. Reese, well, as a kid, when I would watch these, all of these shows featuring Jane Goodall,
uh-huh.
um, it's I think her work with the chimpanzees, what mystified me as a child of the 80s was obviously I know that these are wild animals and we saw Michael Jackson have Bubbles the chimp and Jane Goodall was there with the chimps like, in the jungles with the chimps, but I think what I my takeaway from what I learned from Dr. Goodall, not Michael Jackson, is that these chimps, yes, they while they are wild animals, they are so close
Yeah.
to be
Oh,
they're
yeah.
our cousins. They're so close
Yes.
to us.
Very
They're
close. Yeah,
so
very close.
Yeah.
dangerously close
Yeah.
that that's why we saw Michael Jackson cohabitate with Bubbles the chimp.
Yeah,
So,
and Robin
can you talk
Williams
about
did a
that?
beautiful. Robin Williams did also a beautiful uh, uh, interview or time with with a primate, and it's just kindness. It's just I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but who cares? Um, the notion that you have to have a gun to kill a defenseless animal is so yesterday, and in time it'll be looked on back upon like, what the hell were these knuckleheads doing? Get a camera. Just get a camera. You want to be a man or a big woman who thinks you're a man or whatever. Get a camera. Get up close. And if you're wealthy, booyah, buy 50 billboards or 500 billboards with your name. You got to have your name. Oh yeah, and the animal, and it's alive. That's all. The thrill of stalking with a camera is just as cool as with a dumbass sniper rifle where the
Mhm.
animal has no chance.
I mean, Dr.
Eh,
Reese, if a chimpanzee is my genetic, cousin or second cousin, as a kid, in my mind, that meant I'm not that far removed from rescuing that dog I
Yes,
found on the street, or the bird,
yes,
the baby bird that fell out of the nest, or, like, that's how that was the impact that Jane Goodall had on
awesome,
me. I was the
awesome,
kid that brought home every stray creature, every like, I was
awesome,
that kid. At a
awesome.
menagerie at home, my mom hated it because I just brought everything home, but that's what that's from watching Jacques Cousteau and all these,
Yeah,
Jane Goodall things. That's
yeah,
the impact of what, 80s and PBS had on me as a kid.
yes.
And so I wonder now, who do the kids have now, especially now that Dr. Goodall has passed on?
Well, I don't know that, but I will just make a commentary. It's a slight digression, which irks me, and I'm sure both you and Ted. These wretched online killing games, the war games,
Mm.
they're addictive. They're they get they suck the kids in, and that's all they think of. And so I don't know who is the next great person, but I do know that parents are, and I can only say this as an outsider because I don't have biologic kids. That you're if it's done right, I only imagine your mom and your dad are your hero, and you want to do good things and make your mom and dad happy or proud. And so the moms and dads are the people who can step in and go camping or take a nature walk or take time out where you just are not electronically uh, umbilically attached to some device. And the thing is, here's the great thing. Here's the true thing. When you're in nature or when you hear birds or you hear rushing water or you see anything, it actually makes us feel good.
Mhm.
And we know this, by the way, when hospitals that have trees and windows that open, the patients get better way faster.
Thank you
So,
for mentioning that. I never understood, doctor, why there's why hospitals don't all have windows that open. I mean, and
Oh.
air that circulates freely. I mean, it makes
Ted,
no sense at all.
I don't know. And tell me if we're going to put somebody on Mars, good or bad, why you can't, hospital food in general is really
Oof.
bad.
Yeah, not
Look,
to mention also hospitals wake you up
I
all
know,
at three
beeping,
o'clock in the morning when people sleep is literally
fuck,
the thing
Ev
people need more than anything
ev
else
I
to
every,
know.
like,
recover.
8-minute intervals, they come and poke you.
I mean,
I
it's
don't know.
literally
I can't.
torture.
Yeah, yeah, and it's and it doesn't look. It is what it is, but it doesn't need to be that way, and that's why I love to agitate, because we will agitate eventually this thing in the right direction, because it just get with nature. Now the other cool thing which is shown is the trees, whether it's the summer or winter, they're giving off volatile organic compounds that are medicinal. And how medicinal, you may ask? Well, they're so medicinal, these compounds, that they change your blood and they bolster your blood and they bolster the cells, these what they call the NK cells that kill viruses and bacteria, and they are able to kick the stuffing out of cancer. They boost up your cancer fighting cells by 40% if you're just around trees. So we
Wow.
know this. We know this. The Japanese have truthed this for 50 years. The South Koreans are doing it, are sending millions of their workers for a week or two into the forest camps where they bathe and luxuriate and breathe air. So it's really
Imagine that. That's a
remarkable.
luxury. It's a
Yes.
luxury, Dr. Reese. Isn't that
Yes.
crazy in 2025?
Yeah.
Another random question before we let you go about Dr. Goodall. Was she also a vegetarian like you?
Yeah, she was vegan. Now,
Oh,
the great thing for Jane is sometimes when she was on the road, if she was at someone's house, she didn't grandstand and say, "Oh, I couldn't possibly eat that." She was very gentle in how she handled it, but she was a plant based person because that's what that's what she believed in, and mostly the great thing is she she walked the talk. So, we have heroes, we make heroes, and we put heroes on pedestals. That's what humans do. But Jane was just like us. She loved animals. She didn't like to grandstand. And she helped so many different conservationists in different projects around the world. She touched tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people. And I know that she is smiling, and I'm glad she, Fallswell, didn't have a suffering ailment. And
yeah, it really
just a
worked out.
privilege to know her. For all of us to have seen her speak. You can see talks on YouTube. There have been movies. I was at a premiere with thousands of others at the Hollywood Bowl in 2017, where Nat Geo did this great movie on her life. And
Oh, yeah.
she was humble. She was just a humble, kind person who uh, led by example. And that's
So
what we can all do.
she was really like what we saw on screen, off screen. She was
Yep,
exactly
yep,
what we would think she
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No pretense, no hopped upness, no minders. She didn't have minders. She did not have bodyguards
No
around
entourage.
her. She was just cool. She was
Oh,
cool, calm, and collected in her own skin. And she never let what she did become her persona. And that's so hard because today it's just it's steroidal. People get this thing called fame, and everybody thinks, oh, it's great, but then all of a sudden you get a camera up your backside everywhere you go, and they look to human nature, bring them up, and then try and tear them down. And Jane didn't partake in that. She didn't do bad shit because she didn't. That's wasn't who she was, right? So it's gosh, it's I miss her. She's with us. She'll always be with us. And for the kids, just parents, keep on doing what you're doing. Get your kids outside, grow a garden. If you live in an apartment, get a couple potted plants, uh, and spend time with your kids. Have meals with your kids. Talk about nature and why it's so cool. And that's the best we can all hope for, right?
yeah. She actually, what I recall reading about her, her son was born in the late 60s, and she said that what she learned from
Yes.
living with the chimpanzees, that her son, his nickname is Grub, that she raised him for the first 3 years exactly as a chimp mother would raise her little ones.
Yeah, I read that too. Isn't that just well, with love and attention and some
Attached at
focus?
the hip is what she
Yeah,
said. Yeah, like that
yeah, focus.
that she said that
Well,
humans, should do that. And her son, I don't her son is starting to speak out now. It's just such a heartwarming story when you learn about one of these icons. She's an icon.
yeah, yeah. Well, she was real.
That's
Jacques
so
Cousteau
cool.
was like that too. Very, very real.
Oh,
They weren't
don't
caught
tell
up
me
in
you knew
this.
him too.
I did meet Jacques, and uh, they. I mean, they're yesteryear, right? I mean, that's, I guess, people weren't as affected. Today, the affectation is ridiculous, and it's ever present. So all we can all do is roll up our sleeves. I think I'd like to leave everybody with this: we all matter. Everything we do individually matters, and every kind act, good act, not because you're going to be rewarded, but because it's the right thing to do, is what each of us can do. It's easy. It's a behavior thing, Ted, and we can change behavior. We know bad behavior and we know addictive behavior, but if you set your mind to it, every parent and their children, I hope, know this. You can do anything. And no means go away and regroup. And we need goodness. And goodness, in my little understanding, is all I know. And whether it win, lose, or draw, if you never give up, you never lose. And that's all we can all hope for and keep hope alive. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this, Dr. Reese. Ted, unless you've got anything else, I'll let the good doctor go.
Thank you.
Dr.
Keep
Reese.
good.
Oh, Ted, you're muted. Dr. Reese, thank you so much for sharing your
Thank you,
memories
doctor.
about Jane Goodall. It's so cool to, to know you, and we trust what you have to say, and you knew Jane Goodall. How freaking cool is that? And obviously you're keeping up the good work. I mean, she's much older than you, and you're carrying on that torch as well. So we appreciate you. Thank you, Dr. Reese.
Okay. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, doctor.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How cool is that? Dr. Reese knows like all of the like I was like, "What? You knew Jacques Cousteau?" Like
Yeah, it's
yeah,
cool.
but Ted, none of these people now like there is no who's today's Jane Goodall? Who's today's Jacques Cousteau? Like Steve Irwin is dead. Jeff Corwin but now you have all of these like social media influencers that
Yep.
do these stupid things out in nature for clicks. They're not
Well,
a Jane Goodall.
Well, part
They're
of it
not.
is that, look, in fairness to the influencers, I'm sure that some of them would love to have had the opportunities that like Dr. Goodall or Jacques Cousteau did. Look, those guys got, because we lived in a pre-atomized media environment. If you ended up on PBS with your own nature special, everybody watched that show, right?
Yeah.
So you were part of and not to mention, it was probably given a pretty decent budget. I mean, Jacques Cousteau had a good budget. He got lots of big donations from scientific institutions. So if you have that kind of big support and exposure financially and in terms of just the support structure of distribution of your work, yeah, I'm sure you can do more than just go and poke an animal and make dumb noises. But everybody is now doing media on a shoestring budget like we are. And
Yeah.
I mean, imagine what you and I
Part
could
of it.
do with a studio and, a
A
staff of
team,
50,
like a full staff.
15 people, board op so we could take calls. There's, all the bells and whistles, the licensed pre-roll, being able to go out on the street. I mean, I worked
Lawyers that have
in the
our
mid
back.
90s. I worked for ABC News at the lowest possible level. I did an interstitial 5 to 7 minute thing for ABC World News Now, which aired from 3 to 5 a.m. We used to joke more security guards get their news from ABC World News Now than any other source. And like, even so, there was a budget. We had access to all of the ABC archives. If I wanted a camera crew to go do like a little shtick about like mass transit, they'd go out on the subway with me and film it. You know, it's different when you have that support. Those guys had that. They were part of a communal mass culture, and we don't have mass culture anymore. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I've ever heard a Taylor Swift song, and she's one of the most famous entertainers in the world. I don't know the title of a Taylor Swift song, not one.
I don't know if I know the titles, but I know some of them. They're catchy. Like
you don't know the title of a song, and you're 20 years younger than me. You don't know a
not
single
20 quite.
Well, 20,
no, I don't 15. Know the names.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not. This isn't about you being stupid. What this is about is like our culture is so atomized that you can be worth $1 billion and be incredibly famous and sell out stadiums and have most people don't have a clue about what you do because we're in such an incredible. That wasn't true about the Beatles. You know, I mean, there was like you could hate the Beatles and never go see them
and always know at least one name,
unavoidable.
One title.
Yeah.
At least everybody knows at least one title.
Everybody. Oh, one title track. Everyone could have listed 10 Beatles songs.
Right. I
mean, my mom could have, and she never listened to them.
Yeah. I guess maybe it's a generate. Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know, but Dr. Reese is one of those few, right, of that dying generation, and I honestly don't know. Like, I was heartbroken when Steve Irwin. Did you see the video of Steve Irwin when he?
I saw
my
it. Yeah,
God,
it was
like
not pretty.
That's I never knew that stingrays did that kind of stinging.
Well, they don't normally, but they can. I mean, he
it was a freak thing.
And, you know, he fucked around and found out.
It was a freak thing. I know, but I mean, they don't have those big names. I think after Steve Irwin, I think that was kind of it.
Well, we have no big names in anything anymore. You know,
like a universal, a ubiquitous name.
I didn't get small. It was the movies that got small. But that's basically that's all of our culture. I mean, there's never going to be a political cartoonist like Jeff McNally ever again because he had like incredible market dominance. There will never be a band like the Rolling Stones ever again because of same reason. You know, you're even though the number of politicians is fixed, the number of star politicians is now great, you know, is basically increased, right? So, you know, every loudmouth congressman has a voice, which means that like no one has a monstrous voice, right? There's think about the Democratic Party. Where's the Lion of the Senate, like a Ted Kennedy or someone like that?
Yeah.
They're not around. We don't have that.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the era has just changed and especially, you know, when I do think of like nature stuff, I mean, I talk to Dr. Reese all the time. So he knows, you know, the weird little things I do with my son, like composting, or like we look at like bugs and plants and stuff under his microscope that he got for Christmas last year. And, you know, like we do all that stuff. We plant things. He just planted a potato. So we do all, you know, like even though we're city folk, like I still want him to understand how he loves science. He loves this stuff. But there is no show that my dad used to turn on PBS, and that's where I watched Jacques Cousteau. Or, you know, you find things about Jane Goodall on. There's nothing like that now. So how do you even teach kids when it's like more digital than ever? That's why I asked Dr. Reese, like, who is a name that's out there now? Like there isn't one, I feel like. So
and there can't be, you know, that's really the point.
I know. That's
I mean, just think about like authors. You know, there can't be another John Grisham or a Stephen King or any of those mass market big stars. You go to you go to a bookstore and you'll be like, oh, I know who Ta-Nehisi Coates is or whoever.
Yeah.
But like most people don't, you know?
Well, you know, Stacey Abrams is probably more famous as a sensual young adult writer than she is.
Oh, that's true.
Politician.
Yeah, that is probably true.
More women recognize her name as a, you know, a sensual writer
Yes, it's like soft porn, right? Basically.
Yeah. It's basically housewife soft porn books is what she writes.
Mm-hmm. Good for her.
So, yeah, she found her niche. Failed politician, successful soft porn book writer. Awesome. But
Well,
there's
she
no
did
big
get a
name.
little bit. She did have that election a little bit
They
stolen
tried
from
to
her.
make her a thing, but to your point, Ted, nobody can be really made a thing anymore.
Look, honestly, think about like
they tried to make Beto. Remember Beto
here,
O'Rourke?
I got one for you. You tell me 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, you could walk up to any American in the street and point a gun at their head and say, I will kill you unless you could name all 3 top network anchors, and no one would die. Everyone could answer that question.
Definitely.
That's not true now.
That's not true anymore. So that's my point. Is like
I barely know David Muir on ABC, and that's it. I don't even know who hosts the NBC Nightly News or
I don't know
or the CBS Evening News.
Wait, ABC? Know. Maybe that's David Muir.
ABC is David Muir, but I don't know who's on the other 2. I don't know.
I'm from the industry and I don't even know.
You see my point, right? And think about what a colossal job that was. I mean,
I know Meet the Press is Kristen Welker.
Right, but think about.
But I only remember that because she was my neighbor. So.
Right, like I know George Stephanopoulos is on this week with on ABC.
Yep.
But I mean, you would know these things, right? I mean,
40, 50 years ago, everyone knew, and that doesn't exist anymore. So
okay, I watched The Five, and we have so much stuff going in out of our brains. Maybe it's just because I'm retarded, but I watch The Five every day on Fox, every day. And let me just say, I know that there's some blonde chick who used to be a press secretary. I don't know her name. No idea.
Dana Perino.
Oh yeah, that's
the Bush
right.
secretary, Bush press secretary.
So and she's a very striking person and memorable, sort of, but I just don't remember. So
she's likable.
Yeah, she's likable.
Dana Perino, yeah.
Dan Gutfeld, I remember his name. Kennedy's on there, but it's I have to.
Greg Gutfeld. See, you didn't remember his name. You called him Dan.
Oh God, good point. Well, he should change his name to Dan. Dan would be a better name.
Greg, he's GG. Greg Gutfeld.
Yeah, that sucks.
And he went to Berkeley. That's as much as I know.
Yeah,
I don't know who's on there now after the Kim Guilfoyle.
It's also weird because Gutfeld's funnier on not his own show.
Really?
His own show blows, but when he's on The Five or whatever, he's pretty funny.
When he's a panelist?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But to your point, that's exactly right. There is nobody that's going to be the next Jane Goodall because it's not possible. There is nobody that's going to be, the Lion of the Senate. There is no Ted Kennedy. It's never, that era has passed. And
our culture is atomized. Andy Warhol was right. Everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. That is correct. In other words, the fame is diffuse. It's it used to be. It used to be that the gates were really hard to break into. I mean, in my own little profession, breaking into political cartooning was insanely hard. Even though, ironically, there were more professionals, but once you got in, you were all set, and you'd make a good living, and you'd be famous, and you'd be lionized, and you'd win awards, and everything was good. But getting in was basically impossible. Now anyone can get in. I mean, no problem. You just post on a blog, you post to X, you're a political cartoonist. No problem. Yeah. You are published. But, nobody knows. Well, I mean, your 3 friends know who you are.
The meme girl, the Cash Me Outside girl, she was hot for 15 minutes, right? She's a meme for going on, I don't know, it was Maury Povich or something, and she was threatening to fight people, cash me outside in.
I don't even know who that is. See?
Yeah, because she's a tiny meme on my phone now. So I can just click her icon. Just cash me outside. Everyone is, like you said, everyone's famous now. And so therefore nobody's
about that.
Famous.
I was at South by Southwest and I met the owner of Grumpy Cat. Remember Grumpy Cat? Yeah. So I have a picture of myself holding Grumpy Cat, and Grumpy Cat liked me because cats like me, even grumpy cats. And cats always like me. She said she was very surprised. She said,
it's a girl? Is Grumpy Cat a girl?
No, the cat
The owner's a girl.
did not talk to me. The owner talked to me, and she was a girl at the time. She might still be a girl. And these days, you never know.
Okay.
And she was a waitress, and it was just her cat, and it was like an
Grumpy
accident.
Cat.
The whole thing was but anyway, Grumpy Cat died. But
it was. Oh, has it been that long? I guess.
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and
but,
the cat was not in good health. But the point
is,
really? That's why he looked like that. Yeah, he was kind of a fucked up cat. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he had like some kind of like
like a congenital issue.
Precisely. So but I remember just meeting her, and she was like working it at South by and thinking, when your cat dies, you're going to go back to being, you're just going to be a waitress again.
Right.
That's it. Back to Texas, or wherever she was from. I don't even remember.
I'm sure.
Somewhere in flyover country.
Well, that's it for us. Like, let's leave it on that, on Grumpy Cat. Like, everybody and everything is dying.
True.
Nobody is going to be a legend like Jane Goodall was.
It's just technology. Nothing can or should be done about it. Not going to happen. It's just how it is.
Yeah. The legends are dying, and that's it. Like, that we're at a different era in life, and legends like icons like a Jane Goodall are no more. That's the culture we're in. That's the era of, that's that time frame that we live in, Ted. The giants are gone, and the people that were once icons, like the Lucille Balls and gone. So that's it. Sorry to be a bummer, guys. Like,
it's not a bummer. It just is what it is. That's all.
It just is. Like, no icons. All right. That does it for us for Thursday. Tomorrow, Friday. Find some weird news for you.
Ooh, it looks like we are number 50 on Rumble right now.
Oh. What, are we still on the splash page? Is that?
We're next to realamericansvoice.com. Yes, we are.
Oh.
We're
next to Real America's Voice.
We're a little bit behind Alex Jones and his highly reliable.
We're not far behind Live Now on Fox. They're the Fox's streaming thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys found that interesting. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Indeed. Adios, amigos.
Bye.
Bye.